Hi, and welcome to Fabric Bias. It is March 2026, and I am starting a new project. I have no idea when I'm going to finish it, but I found this video came through on my feed, and I just thought that was really super cute. And it looks like it's a quick project, so we'll see. Quick is relative, right? Anyway, I have this fabric, and I'm not particularly fond of it. On it, I don't know. When I hold it up, it may not come across in camera this way, but when I hold it up, I think it looks like somebody's really old curtain from a long time ago, and not in a Scarlett O'Hara kind of way. And so I thought, well, I wonder if I could take this fabric that I'm not particularly fond of and make a cute little bag that I do think I would like. So we'll see. Now, I looked around for fabric to match, and I found a brown, but I didn't really want to go that route. And then I remembered that I had this scrap in my bag of scraps that I just finished my other project digging into. And luckily I didn't use that piece because I thought it was kind of a pretty like bluish purple. And so I had saved it and not used it in that. And so this is actually the piece I'm going to use to coordinate with this one. I need 2 circles. The original poster, she did hers in centimeters, but it averaged out to about 20 inches. And my cut is going to be based off of this piece. And the biggest distance I have on it is 15 inches here. So I'm only going to go to 15. So I will be making a much smaller bag than what was in the original poster's video on that. And I thought about playing with trying to add pockets. So there's no pockets in this bag. But I looked at the video, and I think there are ways that you could do pockets. However, I'm not so sure on this first one if that's what I'm going to do. So I have these extra little scraps over here I'm going to set aside along with my little scrap bag here. And I'm going to cut out my pieces from this fabric that I'm not that fond of and this fabric that I do like, and see if I can come up with something that, you know, turns into a cute bag. Anyway, either way around it, I'm not going to keep it. I'm going to give it away to somebody, so hopefully someone will like it. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm weird, but I think that sounds like a fun project to do. All right, I will be back. I'm going to get everything all cut out, ironed out. Backing on both of the pieces. She backed both of these pieces. They're cut into circles, so it'll be a 15-inch diameter circle because that's the width, the biggest width I have on this to be able to do, I believe, 15-inch. Hopefully I won't screw anything up because I only have this one piece. If I do screw it up, well, I'll just have to go find another piece to use to go with this. Or I guess I could piece some of this together. I'm just going to try to be really careful and not screw up on that. So I'm going to try to make a circle. So here is my fold and fold, and this is what she did. She did the fold and the fold, and then she made her curve and then trimmed out and got a circle that way. I'm going to go ahead and cut this 15-inch square piece. This one's not 15-inch square. And then I'm going to go and put them together. I'm going to cut them together so they hopefully will match and see how it goes. And I have a ton of this. So if I screw up, I hope I screw up on this one, but we'll see. All right, I'll be back in a flash. Okay, so I have the second piece here. I have a cut down to about the same size as this one. You can see not quite exactly the same, but that's okay. I'm going to use this one, which is the shortest side of it was 15 inches. So once I got it all folded and folded in half again, that side is 7.5. And so rather than try to find myself a circle that was 15 inches in my house, I went ahead and did the same procedure that the original poster did by measuring from here, the corner, 7.5 inches, although her measurement was different because she was using a different size than I am. But I just kind of went around and marked it, and then I kind of curved and made a curve. Now I'm going to try to cut them together. I kind of debated on whether or not I wanted to put the interfacing on first, but I decided against it. I'm probably going to regret that, but it'll save me a little bit of interfacing, maybe, maybe not, I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this and then get the interfacing cut out and pressed on. But I just wanted to show you that's where I'm at this point. Hopefully you can see that. I know I'm in camera, but I just don't know how, if it's showing up. There we go. There you go. Okay, back in a flash. Okay, so for most of the rest of this, all I did was take pictures and I didn't do anything. So I'm going to have to voice over, which I'm not very good at, but I'm going to give it a go. So here you see I cut out the fabric, and then I've decided to use fusible fleece. By the way, my volume's as high as it'll go So I'm cutting out the squares, and then I cut the circles of fusible fleece, then I press them onto the fabric. And then the next step is to fold, to sew the two pieces right sides together, and then flip them right side out and press them again. And then you mark across the bottom. What I did was mark 1.5 inches from the bottom on both sides, both the inside and the outside piece here, and then mark the centers. And I also marked on the inside piece. Well, I did both, but you only have to do the inside. But once you've got them lined up where the two pieces would meet, because you're going to sew in between those, and you can see I've already done that in the picture. Then you're going to line them up again and clip them, and then you're going to darken that line from the curve to the 1.5 inch mark on the lining, because you're going to stitch that. So once you've got that stitched, you're going to stitch from the outside, and you're not just stitching that curve. That's what I did because I was figuring it out, but you're actually top stitching the entire curved piece of that exterior to make those pockets that you see there that I'm demonstrating. But so do that one line on the interior piece that you mark from the curve to the base, and then the whole curve of the exterior piece. And then you need 2 straps, and you're going to fold them traditional. This is the way I see most of the straps being done. And once you've got them folded and pressed, you're going to fold them back reversed so the frayed edges are showing, so that you can finish off the ends. And you just stitch across the raw edges, the short raw edges on both sides once you have them reversed. So you can see that's the right way. And then you're going to fold them back and all the way across again the wrong way, and just stitch there. And once you have that done, you can clip the corners or clip the ends. I don't always do it at an angle. Sometimes I just clip them off, or sometimes I forget to clip them all at all, but that way they don't show, any portion doesn't show when you sew it. And of course you're going to do both ends when you do that, and then fold it back the right way, tucking in the corners really nicely as you do it. And on both ends, push those corners out, and then you can stitch down both long edges. And you'll have, as you can see here, you'll have a nice strap with finished ends, which is important because these ends are actually exposed and not being tucked into the bag. Of course, if you're tucking them in the bag, you wouldn't need to do this. To put my straps on, I measured over about 1.5 inches from the long edge, and then about 1 inch on the side that the strap is on, the ruler's on, and 1 inch down from that top, because since it's curved, that would be the, I guess, outside edge of that. So 1.5 inches in from the long edge, and then 1 inch down from the curved edge, and put it in place. And then, of course, you want to make sure you don't twist your strap as you put it to the other side. So that's what I was checking, and then another 1.5 inches and measuring 1 inch down and clip it in place. And so I'm only doing a single clip here. Sometimes I do more than one clip, just, to be safe. And then the cool part about this one is now you can bump your ruler against where you have the other strap, and then check against the long edge to make sure that you're at 1.5 inches all the way up and everything's lined up straight. And then you can put your measuring 1 inch down again from that ruler side, not twisting your strap, and switching to the other side and measuring 1 inch down and 1.5 inches over from the long edge. And make sure that's all the way across so you're not going crooked. And clip that in place. And I'm not just sewing across the bottom. I sewed down each side across the bottom, back up the other side, and then along the curve to attach the straps on. Which you can see here in this picture really quickly. Now you want to go, so this is right side out, you want to go wrong sides out, so right sides together, and you're going to sew down each side. So once that's done, you can box your corners, and it's really easy. You just, where the two fabrics meet, that's where you're going to go and stitch straight across. So you can just, on this side, you have to feel with your fingers where that's at, but you just go straight across from there. And then once that's done, you're still on the inside of the bag. You're going to go ahead and stitch up those triangles that you made. And you can stitch through the seam because it's pretty thick, if you used fusible fleece at any rate. And you can stitch through, and then you have have that tacked in place. Okay, so there it is. So I usually put batting in my straps, but I didn't this time. Expedience sake, I guess, I'm not sure. So this is what I was trying to do was get this to be a pocket. So this is the inside of the bag. Here, I'll show you. Let me flip it right side out here. It is cute. I don't know if you can see. Kind of pocket of sorts here on both sides. I don't know if it's visible on that. So there it is. So yeah, well, I actually think that turned out cute on this. So I do actually end up liking this fabric in this bag, in this teeny little bag. So yeah. Oh, I also went with, I just kind of guessed at the length of the handle on that. So I just kind of went off with the cutoff. So it was 15 by 4 because that's what I started originally cutting off. This piece was 15 by 15, a little bit more. But by the time I trimmed it down, and I kind of like longer handles on my bag, so that was the other piece too. You could always shorten it down to wherever you wanted it. It could be, you know, like that if you want it shorter. But I like long handles. So yeah, it's a cute little thing. Oh, let me see. Let me grab a ruler. So it ends up being, I'm not counting from the dip here to the base. Oh, it is about, I would say 4 1/4. 4 1/4 here. Seems a little bit more, but if it went straight across there, and maybe 4 1/4 to 4 1/2 from this dip here, from the height over here on the edge. That's easier to measure. That's about 5 1/2 here, and then it's about, well, there we go, 3 inches wide at the base on that. So yeah, it's a cute little bag. I'm not sure what you would use it for because it's kind of small. Oh, across the front is 6 inches. So, and that's starting off with a 15-inch cut, square cut, which became a round. Radius would have been 7 1/2. There it is. I actually like it. I'm actually liking this fabric at this point too, which I definitely didn't like in the whole. So I might make this a little bit bigger. Let me tuck that inside. Anyway, I did play with it. I was just showing you, taking pictures as I went through so you could see kind of how I was changing it. You'll have to go back and watch the original posters video to see how to actually do it. I might make another video to show the kind of the changes I did, but some of the things too, like since I was trying to make this into a pocket, I sewed across here, but I almost didn't sew enough because I wasn't taking into account the fact that I was going to box the bottom. So I would have to go a little bit further to make that a little bit more of a pocket, but not too much further, maybe an inch further, leaving about, let's see how much of that, 4 inches open, not counting for the curve there. So from this point to about 4 inches down here. That would give you, I mean, if you go too small, you can't get your hand in there, and then you're losing whatever's deep in there. But yeah. And you also could choose to, you know, if you wanted to. I put it on the inside because I didn't know how this pocket was going to come out, or this divider was going to come out, so I figured safer to put it on the inside than on the outside. But you could do the same thing. Instead of sewing the inside, sew the outside that way. So that's kind of what I was playing with too, with how I was stitching it, because I was trying to figure out how to make a pocket work. But you could always leave this part open and sew this part closed instead. So anyway, I would definitely have to play with how I'm going to do it. I don't know if that makes sense, but hopefully it'll make sense to me if I make it again. I guess you could always too put a snap right there. Makes the bag a little bit smaller. But okay, well, there it is. I hope you like it. I hope that wherever, whenever you're at, you're having a great time, and thanks for watching. Okay, my other notes on this was I did use, instead of Shape Flex, I used a kind of fusible fleece product in it, and I think if I were, I mean, it's a good, like if you're making it for a kid, but if I were making it for a kid, I wouldn't put this straps this long, because I don't like anything that they could get around their necks. So yeah, I still think it's cute. Maybe put a tie here. Sew in a tie and tie it closed. Yeah, super cute. I love it. All right, and And I hope you like it. I hope that wherever, whenever you're at, you're having a great time, and thanks for watching.